Right, cool. So I think we are good to start. So perhaps there are still going to be people who will join us in the meantime. We are already past 12, so I think we are good to go. So first, thank you for everyone who decided to join us in this beautiful summer afternoon. It's already after 12, and decided to spend some time to listen about what do we think about Sylius future. How does the Sylius future going to look like? So I have a short presentation that I already made on couple meetups. Some of you might have seen it already, although it's a little bit more oriented in the partner context, since today we are hosting a partner webinar. To anyone who might be interested in listening a little bit more about what do we plan for the community context, on Friday there is going to be a follow-up webinar where we are going to tell a little bit more about how do we plan to approach community product, community itself, and that all things around the community ecosystem. So yeah, so today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what comes next with Sylius. To those of you who might not know me yet, my name is Nikolai, and at the current moment, I have the pleasure to be sitting at the management board of Sylius. My current position is the Chief Executive Officer. So basically what I do at Sylius is I connect dots in the whole Sylius ecosystem. My background is technical. Some of you might recognize me as one of the Sylius contributor and the founder of Feedback. Which is essentially an agency that was doing Sylius for quite some time. So yeah, so here I am today to tell you a little bit more about Sylius future. I know that many of you were kind of curious what's going to happen next, and I wanted to meet as many of you as possible to share my idea on how do we approach Sylius future together with our team. But before we start, wise men say that in order to know where you're heading, it's good to know where you are going from. So we are going to tell you a bit more about the history of Sylius and how it all started. It's always a nice icebreaker, and I'm sure that not everyone here is aware how old Sylius as a project is, how it started, and how it's going. So Sylius originally started as an open source project that was created in 2011 after in 2010 Paweł Jędrzejewski, some of you might recognize him, created an e-commerce solution for his aunt and his mother for a family business. In 2011, he decided that he doesn't want to maintain it himself, so he decided to share it with the community, and this is where it all started. He started talking to other community members. There was some nice, really experienced guys behind the project who were helping him maintaining and extending the project for him as a technical guide. Was quite a shift in his professional career, which later on turned out to be quite a business idea. So in 2013, the first development of what we know Sylius today, this was called an alpha version, started. After which in 2013, the first agency that was focused on building e-commerce projects on top of Sylius was founded. The company was named Lakion. Some of you might remember a company like this. It doesn't exist anymore, but this was officially the first Sylius agency that was doing Sylius projects. Then in 2016, the stable development of stable version started, and in 2017 the stable version was released. As far as I remember, it was September 15th, was quite a date. So this is where the 1.00 Sylius version was started. And here all the fun begins, because in 2018 the launch of partner program started. And after this event, I think if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be sitting all here, because as of today, We have around 70 partners in the ecosystem worldwide. So it turned out to be quite an important date in the whole Sylius timeline. And now in 2023, Sylius was sold to private investors. So those investors are myself and my partner Damian, who is also the co-founder of Bitback. So we are here in the point of 2023, and now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the present, about the things that many people ask me about, some of the things that people were kind of worried. So I would like to get along it first, so that I can make everyone a little bit calm about what's going to happen next. So at the current moment, we at Sylius do not plan to do any revolution. We will do evolution instead. So Sylius will remain Sylius. There's not going to be any rebranding whatsoever. Sylius will also remain open source rooted. We believe that it's one of the greatest selling point is that it's a great open source e-commerce framework. So we have no intention changing that. There's also not going to be any kind of merger between Bitback and Sylius. From the logical point of view, there's no reason to. So both Damian and I acquired the shares privately. So to us, it was a purely strategical move that we kind of diversified our assets, and we always wanted to have our own product company, which we already tried by funding a product that was called Open Marketplace. Some of you might have heard about it. It was a multi-vendor marketplace that was based on Sylius. And we don't plan to do any kind of monopoly game. So at Bitback, we also do at the moment quite a lot of other things beyond Sylius. We do Symfony development. We also do shopware. We do open marketplace that I mentioned. We still do Sylius, but it's far more than that at the current stage. So merging those two companies doesn't make a lot of sense from the logical point of view. And last but not least, we don't want to harm the order of the partner network. At the current moment, partner network drives most of the Sylius revenue. So we kind of either directly or just by providing business leads, selling licenses, etc. So we don't want to harm it in any way. So instead, we would like to collaborate with other partners rather than get all the business to Bitback. So this is not our intention. So what is Sylius today? Because that's also something that we've been asking us when we started to work at Sylius, and something that you might have already seen happen on our main website. We decided to start positioning Sylius as an open source e-commerce framework for any shopping experience, because essentially this is what Sylius is currently. So we have no intention to compete to other platforms like Shopware, Magento, etc. Because directly Sylius is not a platform. It's like an open source framework providing great developer experience that is closely rooted to open source and Symfony. And if you take a look at it this way, it has no other competitors. So it's in this niche, and we will try to do what we can to make it as great as possible in its own niche. And this is what we are going to focus on. This is also the kind of vision that most of the community members, clients, partners we talk to share. So we decided, let's create our own buzzword and start teaching people to recognize Sylius as an e-commerce framework. Hence, the headline has changed. And in our marketing activities, we will do it more and more often. So you will see Sylius not as a platform, but as an e-commerce framework in the upcoming months. So just before we move next to what's the future, it would be great to see what is the beating heart behind Sylius, so what Sylius is built upon. So at the current moment, what drives Sylius as a product, as a company, are the following factors. First of which is obviously partner network environment. That consists around 70 partners worldwide. This includes digital agencies, hosting partners, and payment service providers. Then there's the open source product. So the MIT rooted product you all know, and I think everyone works with. And this is where we gather all the traction. So this is what builds Sylius recognition. This is what gets the community together. This is what makes Sylius so great in the first place. Then there's the community, which is obviously the result of a great open source product. So at the moment, we have around 6,000 Slack users, over 7,000 GitHub starts, 800 contributors in the history of GitHub. And then those people build the outstanding Sylius experience on a daily basis, work with it, share their ideas of how Sylius could be improved, ask for support, and network with each other, mainly over Slack. Then from the top to bottom, there are merchants. At the moment, we have around 4,000 active online stores that run Sylius from various industries, from small businesses to large enterprises. There's also a very significant business part of Sylius, which is the Sylius Plus license, which drives most of the Sylius revenue currently. So at the moment, our offer features multi-store, loyalty system, access control layer, return management, multi-source inventory, and partial order fulfillment. So this is what we sell to the most demanding customers, and this is what funds the evolution of the open source product. And last but not least, there's the Sylius plugin store. So the store that hosts all the packages, all the plugins on Sylius, and then the first source of truth for customers and people who are willing to use Sylius on what kind of integrations, extensions there are in the ecosystem. So what comes next? So to better understand how we planned the future of Sylius, I am going to explain a little bit what we took into consideration creating the strategy, the plan for the Sylius future. So first, we took all the experience we gathered at Bitback as a Sylius partner, implementator, agency, community members. So we've been working there for 7 years with Sylius, delivered over 100 projects. We also built a ton of plugins in the open source segment. So we kind of knew what were the strong sides of Sylius and what we always felt like could have been improved over time. We also tried to take it to the internal team, which worked quite well. So we asked the internal product team, how do they feel about those things, and how we could address those problems and make Sylius a better product. And then there's the feedback from the ecosystem. So I traveled quite a lot. In June alone, I made like 12,000 kilometers around to Europe to talk to partners, clients, community members, and gather as much feedback as possible. And this is what I'm essentially doing right now during this webinar to get a better understanding of how people possess Sylius and what they think about it and what we could improve here. So we created this big mind map where we planned a strategy. So asked the team what we could do and what we cannot. And this is how we created the strategy for the community, for partners, for the Sylius community product, for Sylius Plus, etc., etc. So today I'm going to focus on a few contexts, one of which are obviously partners, and then there's the Sylius Plus offering. But I will also touch a little bit on all the other contexts that I shared in the previous slide. However, again, as I said, if you would like to hear more about the community context, feel free to sign up for the webinar on Friday. Olga already shared a link to it on the chat. So partners. So what we already started working on, what we already created is a dedicated partner services sales funnel. So we kind of feel like in the past there was too little of partnership in our partnerships. So partnerships by design should work both directions, So if you provide us with businesses for Sylius Plus license, we should also provide you with some opportunities to sell your professional services. So this is why we created a landing page on our website where there's going to be a possibility for customers to ask for professional services that we would like to later offer and forward to our partners. How are we going to do that? We are going to take a few factors into consideration. First of which would be the partner level, then there would be the engagement, the market the partner is in, and the customer side. So the more engaged you are, the most likely the more leads you are going to get. So this has been happening in the past, but somehow it wasn't a process. So there was no like an algorithm of, hey, who do we forward this lead to, and I feel like this at this current moment we should do it in a more organized way. Those things happen occasionally, and many of you have been asking about that. We will also try to promote it a little. So after all those webinars, we will run some marketing activities promoting those services section. Also, if you could provide us with some kind of information of what is your target customer group and whether you would like to get such leads from us, just feel free to ping me on Slack or on email. The more information about your business I get, the better. Although with those of you who are the most engaged partners, do the most community work and help us building a better Sylius ecosystem, I'm more or less already up to speed with what kind of business you are expecting to get from it. Those kind of stuff will be handled by our partner representatives. So you might have heard that we already hired one new partner rep who is going to handle the Dutch market. Christian is his name. Christian has been working with Sylius for quite some time already, and right now he's going to handle all the relations in the Dutch market. We are also going to hire someone for the French market, although the recruitment is still ongoing. It's a promise, so we'll try to do our best here and find the perfect candidate to fulfill the French partner manager role as good as possible. At the current moment, Przemek, who you might already know, is going to handle all the other parts of the work. So Romy, I could ask you to turn off the mic if possible. Okay, so all right, so Przemek will handle all the other parts of the world. So if you are still confused who you should contact to as your partner manager, Przemek is the proper person to do so if you are not in the Dutch market at the moment. In terms of what we have planned for the partner ecosystem, first we would like to focus on transparency, meeting with you more often. So we would like to introduce recurring communication funnels so that we could improve the relation between Sylius and our partners, but also build a relation between partners themselves. So sometimes it happens that partners need to collaborate on some kind of product and have complementary experience. We'd like to build this kind of network. Obviously, we would use Zoom and Google Meet channels to do so, but we would also like you to be more engaged on the partner Slack channel. You might have seen me posting there sometimes, but the more traction we could get there, the better. So if possible, if you have any kind of generic partners to this question, feel free to use the partner Slack channel. If for some reason you are not there yet, feel free to let Przemek know. He will add you there in no time. So I also told you that I'm going to mention a few updates on Sylius Plus offering, and this is what I'm going to do now. So some of you might have heard that we are experimenting with modular Sylius, and this is what we already started to do with some clients, and we are going to announce the possibility of purchasing individual plugins modules of Sylius somewhere in the next weeks. So it's already ready. As you can see, we have this kind of beautiful configurator where you could pick only the modules you are willing to use with your Plus offer. What is your market segment? What kind of projects do you do? What kind of development strategy you are going to move forward with? By the way, we will try to encourage customers to use as much of our partner network as possible. So if they decide to move forward with some of our certified partners, they would get a better Sylius Plus deal. So we have this kind of beautiful configurator. If there is any businesses that you feel like might use some of those modules individually but doesn't want to pay for the license as a whole, feel free to reach some of our partner managers. They would be happy to assist you in creating a tailored offer for your specific customer. As you can see here, we have a few factors that we take into consideration, one of which is the size of the customers, whether it's a small merchant, mid-size or big one. What kind of operations he runs into, whether it's a B2C, B2B, B2C2B, etc., etc. What's his scope? So whether he's working only national, whether he's global or international, intercontinental. What kind of strategy he is willing to use when it comes to developing the project. So if he's going to do the project in-house or whether he's going to outsource it completely to one of our partners, or whether he's going to mix the team somehow. And also there are two other factors which determine the pricing, one of which is the implementation strategy, whether it's a migration or a greenfield project, etc. And the last one is obviously the currency that he wants to pay. So that's our biggest update so far. And this is something that already works. That this is something that you could already talk to our partners about. So about the upcoming features. Obviously, we would like to enhance our product offer. So this is what is going to happen next. So one of which is already confirmed and is quite significant, which is the B2B module. So we have been facing some large number of people asking whether they could use Sylius with B2B. And obviously, since Sylius is an e-commerce framework, it is possible, although by design, there's not this many B2B oriented features, and we would like to change it in our Sylius Plus offering. So at the current moment, we already have a working prototype of a B2B module which features organization management. This also includes individual pricing, quick shopping, Elasticsearch integration, so an advanced search, enhanced order management, more extended wishlist functionality, custom import exports. We know how important it is to integrate with third-party systems. And again, as I said, in the organization management point, tailored pricing is. So this is one of the most significant B2B features that you could think about. So about things that are yet to be confirmed, but are highly likely to happen after we publish the B2B suite. So we will somehow get some stuff from the B2B suite and publish them as individual models. First of which would be the advanced search. So this is something that Sylius was kind of missing for quite some time already. So we would also like the advanced search module to be part of the Sylius Plus licensing. There's the import and export feature alongside with message queuing protocols out of the box. So you would get a better developer experience to integrate with third-party systems. One of the arising trends in both B2C, B2B segment is the order subscription. So many and more e-commerce merchants to give people the possibility to subscribe to specific order types, and this is also something we would like to address in our Sylius Plus offering. We've been also seeing quite a lot of projects that have quite an extensive product catalog, but for various reasons they didn't decide to go with external team, let it be financial reasons or they just they have like a big catalog but don't need this many advanced catalog features. So since Sylius is a framework for like, hey, let's give those people some kind of basic theme functionality. If they wish, they could use them, but if they don't, they could use a third-party theme. So we'll also introduce product archetypes, so like product templates in our Sylius Plus license, so that creating and managing products is much easier for the product management team. Then there is the digital product type. So we also tested Sylius quite a lot to how does it handle selling digital products. Turns out it works quite well in this space too. So they have a small prototype of that we would like to later introduce in the Sylius Plus offering. And then there's the last big point, but this is something that's going to happen eventually in the next year. We would like to introduce some more marketplace features so that Sylius could also be used as a marketplace essentially. So there's numerous cases where Sylius work quite well as a marketplace. After all, why shouldn't it? It's an e-commerce framework again, so it has all the things there. But we would like to make the experience of building marketplaces with Sylius much easier, considering we also have social proof of such concept working with Sylius. I feel like this is also something we are going to pursue next year. So beyond the features, what's going to happen, small changes in the Sylius Plus context. So all the Sylius Plus modules will be listed in the Sylius store. So if you are approaching your customers and you would like to show them or give them some little overview of what is included in Sylius Plus in individual models, but you don't necessarily want to schedule a demo yet, you will get a chance to do so by sharing the links with your customers from our Sylius store. Sylius Plus will also have an open developer documentation that we are going to work on in the upcoming weeks. So yeah, so there's nothing that we should hide from the community. And we feel like this would be the best way to advertise Sylius Plus if we could show people how to use it, what's included in the pack, so that everyone knows what is there to buy, not only from the user interface perspective, but also from the code context. And last but not least, the user documentation for Sylius Plus must be created. So we somehow didn't do much there yet, but I know that this is kind of a pain point for our partners, that they should teach people, their customers, how to use Sylius, and this is obviously something we should take care about. So enough about Sylius Plus. Now let's go to the Sylius store. Many of you have been asking about the approval process of the Sylius store. We are going to introduce some more advanced processes that it could make the approval process much more efficient, part of which would be the priority pass for our partners to the verification process. So if you are our partner and you develop a plugin, you would like it to be approved by Sylius, you would get a priority in the queue in front of the people who are not our partners. So this is the first thing in the partner context that we are going to do in the context of our Sylius store. In terms of the social media recognition, so we'd like to appreciate your efforts, everything you do with Sylius, and give you some more visibility on our social media. We have thousands of people following Sylius social media. Those are people who are extremely interested in what's happening in the ecosystem. So the least we will do is we will share some of the information about you as our partners on our social media, what you do with Sylius, and Olga is going to prepare such posts for the upcoming year and reach every of you to verify what else we could add there so that we could advertise you as a partner as good as possible. So once a week we'll share some information about our partners. So what we would also like to help you with is give you some support in organizing some community-oriented initiatives. So some of you organize meetups, events, webinars. So I feel like we should promote those more frequently, especially since there is such a great community behind Sylius that is willing to meet frequently. And I feel like we should promote those as well. So if you have any kind of initiative, let it be a webinar, let it be a podcast, meetup, or anything else that you feel like could enhance Sylius' presence in the e-commerce space, we would be happy to promote that. Just feel free to reach us, and we will do our best to give you as much visibility as we potentially can on our social media. Going back to the Sylius store, we are going to introduce a store moderator role. So there's going to be someone who takes care of proper Sylius plugin descriptions, that is going to be a dedicated manager for handling orders. So if you purchase an academy or you have any kind of store request, there's going to be a dedicated role at Sylius that is going to handle such. Part of this role would be to list all of the recent Sylius plugins in the store, even if they are not approved by Sylius yet. We feel like there's quite a lot of plugins we could list there and just not approve them yet. So we would eventually do that, but I feel like there's too little plugins in the store. There's like around 400 plugins that were developed by the community, and the store lists only a few of them. And part of that was due to the slightly complicated approval process. We would like to change it. So the idea is that we will have as many plugins as possible listed there in the most beautiful way as possible, but only part of them would be approved, obviously. So you could use those that are not approved by Sylius. They might work, they might not. We might have not approved them because they are for quality, but we just might have not had time to approve them yet. But anyways, this is what we would like to show to the community. Anyways, so some people actually made the effort to develop those plugins. We should make the effort to list them. So this is the way we would like to at least appreciate the plugin creators. And this is the least what we could do. So another big news is that that SyliusCon is going to happen this year. We are going to start the promotion probably next week, but I am already letting you know that it's going to be hosted on the 3rd of November in Poznań, Poland. Some of you might recognize the venue of PHP Summit, which is an big annual conference around PHP organized here in Poland. We are going to use the same venue. It's much easier to access than watch. But the biggest news is that the SyliusCon is going to happen at all. We are going to start with sponsoring packs in the next week. So we'll be reached either by myself, Christian, or Przemek, with the possibility to fund or involve somehow as a sponsor in the conference. So I also told you that today I'm going to focus more on the partner side, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to tell you a little bit more about what's going to happen in the community edition, although I'll tell a little bit more about it on Friday. I would like to give you some at least brief overview of what is going to happen. So in terms of community product, briefly, we plan to introduce some more features. So this would eventually mean that we will introduce them as Sylius native plugins that would be a state-of-art plugins hosted and maintained by Sylius. Those most likely will include CMS, wishlist, product bundle, some search functionalities, maybe support for PWA, although this is something we are still discussing with Storefront. What's most important is that you will not be forced to use those plugins. So those would be optional, the way Sylius invoicing plugin is at the moment. So the main benefit would be that you get the possibility to install them during the installation process, but you would also have a chance to take a look at what is the state-of-art plugin developed and maintained by Sylius, and how you could actually make the ones you do better by just following the example. Obviously, we will prepare more enhanced guidance on how to do so, but our experience is that usually it's much easier to follow examples, and this is what we will exactly do here. So we will try to lead the example. We also enhance developer docs, so we kind of know that developer documentation is missing some stuff. So also we would like to do more, for instance, cookbook stuff there, so learn by examples, things, etc., etc. And then there's the user guide, so something we also plan to introduce for Sylius Plus. We will also do for the highlight for the community version. As for the community, we are going to launch a small partner program for individuals, so for those people who work with Sylius but don't necessarily have their own companies. More on that on Friday. Sylius Fund that I already mentioned, we are also thinking about donation program, so we could eventually use some kind of donors' money to fund the open source part of our business. There's also going to be some new activities like live coding streams. So we could actually show you how we work, how the core team works, and you could also learn a little bit more about how to do proper Symfony and Sylius coding from that. Obviously, appreciation, so contributor of the month, dedicated space to the core team, volunteers, and people who do things around Sylius. This is something certainly we need to do, so those people feel that we appreciate the great work they do on a daily basis. And question and answers database. So at the current moment, most of the questions and answers happen on the Slack, and those eventually disappear. So we'll probably, the next month, we'll find a way to create a database that is going to be indexed by Google so that you could refer to the past issues too, not only the ones that happened in the past 3 months, which is currently what was the situation with Sylius Slack. About the Sylius plugin store, just in a few sentences, enhanced marketing promotion. So the best plugins we would like to promote on a weekly basis, the way we will promote our partners. So once a week, we will create this kind of marketing strategy to promote plugin of the week and give a bit more recognition. We are also planning to introduce 2 license models, one of which would be lifetime fee, and the second one would be recurring fee. Also, what's most important, many of you were afraid of creating plugins because they somehow would feel the pressure of maintaining the communication with people, no matter how great the plugin is, where the documentation is. Someone might eventually complain about things they cannot understand, etc. So we will introduce variants of purchasing individual consulting first on top of the plugin. So if someone wants some consulting from the author, those people eventually need to pay for that. It's your time. And if the plugin is Sylius compliant, if it meets all the standards like documentation, and if it is something that an average Symfony developer should be able to use, we feel like we need to pay extra for any time that you would need to give them in order for them to better understand how the plugin works. and also revise descriptions. So we would also provide, introduce some kind of template on how the plugin should look like in our store. This is also something we could improve on. So there's already a lot of questions I already know people have, so I decided to create a FAQ section in this presentation. So first, this obviously sounds a lot, and you might feel like we are making empty promises, and at the end, the question is if we are going to make it at all. So yeah, this sounds like a lot of questions, but if you take a look at our business history, I mean, like Damien and myself, we kind of been doing those stuff eventually in the past in some way. So many of those eventually just need to be revised in a more serious way, but we have like strong fundamentals to do so. We also have a great internal team that is highly motivated to do all those stuff. So I can confidently say that the things that I told you that are going to happen are going to happen. And yeah, take my word for it. But yeah, but we are already working on that. As for now, promises is all I can do. Although some of those things already started to happen, and I hope that you believe that we are going to make it. What's more, I really hope that you are going to support us in the process. How are we going to announce it to the public? So yeah, so at the current moment, so we are the first ones to hear it. So many of those things are yet to be announced, but yeah, we felt like we should to do it to people who are mostly interested in Sylius. Those obviously are Sylius partners. On Friday, we are going to host a webinar that I mentioned earlier. And next, we are going to do it occasionally on our blog or on our social media. So I encourage you to follow those if you do not do so already. When is this all going to happen? This is also a question that arises quite often. So everything I told you about is planned for this year. The only thing that we think is not going to happen this year is the marketplace feature. So other than that, we are already on the good track to deliver everything we are telling you about later this year. Is the core team going to change? Actually, no, the opposite. So we would like to introduce new people to the core team. So to those of you who do not know how the core team at Sylius works yet, so at Sylius we have a team that we hire as Sylius commercially, but there's also quite a significant number of volunteers, so developers who are working for other agencies but are willing to maintain Sylius on a daily basis. So we would like to keep it as it is and also make it much easier for new people to join, so that we could somehow use this goodwill and this great power to make Sylius a better product. So now is the great time to ask any kind of questions. So we've reached the end of the webinar. Since we are in a casual community here, feel free to unmute yourself, ask any question, or if you don't have space for that, you could also ask some questions on chat. Okay, so there are no questions. So either my presentation was really great, super easy to understand by everyone, or yeah, or you were not listening. And if you do any use partner leader. Yeah, so as I said earlier in the presentation, we are currently recruiting, and this is our top priority for now to hire someone. So we already hired someone for the DACH market. At the end, our next big goal is to hire someone for France. We know how important France is for Sylius. In fact, it's 1/4 of our total business worldwide comes from France alone. So yeah, so we are kind of aware that there is a great need to hire a partner manager. At the current moment, you could reach Przemek, who is handling the French region. Unfortunately, he doesn't speak French, at least yet. But I'm sure that he would be happy to assist you with anything you, as a Sylius partner, would like to ask him. And yeah, anything he could do, he is there for your disposal. Cool. So, any more questions? Okay, if there are no, I feel like we could we could end this session. So again, it's not the only time you could ask us like some questions. So you could always reach us on Slack. You could reach me on email. For those of you who don't have my email yet, here it is on chat. You also have the direct contact to your partner managers, and if possible, please use the Sylius partner Slack channel. We would like to introduce more and more communication and build a stronger network between partners too. So yeah, thank you to everyone for joining, and and hope to see many of you on Friday. Have a pleasant afternoon, and take care. Cheers. Bye bye.